I think that would be an interesting thing to talk about right now. Like, how did the kitchen start? You meeting Dane, you meeting Jason, and kind of like, how did you get into pickleball?
Well, it's crazy because like when he met you, we were already 3 years in. Like we started June 2020.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's insane.
We weren't 3 years. Yeah,
It was June 2020.
probably like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so I've been working with Dane every day for the past 8 years. God bless his soul.
Crazy.
Jeez.
It's crazy we
He's
haven't
a
killed each
strong
other
man.
yet.
Almost killed each other like 5 times. Yeah, so I come from a community building, marketing, relationship building background from Atlanta, Georgia. Lived in New York, went to University of Florida. Then I was out in the Bay Area for about 15 years. I left my job when I turned 30 to create a nonprofit, which kind of transitioned my career from sales into community building, and we built this big volunteer base on Facebook. And then music's like my original religion. Pickleball is now my religion, but
Yeah.
I started this music blog, and just before that, I actually met Dane at Coachella, totally randomly. I was about to get married. Dane was like, I think we were about to go see Guns N' Roses. He had never seen it. And
I was only like 25.
we met like super briefly. And then I started this music blog in San Francisco, reached out to the friend of Dane's that actually introduced us. I said, hey, do you know a developer that can help me create this music blog? I was like 10 years too late on the music blog front. It was a silly idea. But he said, yeah, that guy Dane that you met, he's an engineer.
I was just kind of running around San Francisco, happy to be out of LA on my own, and was a terrible engineer. And I just said yes to everyone.
He
And
foolishly said yes. We
built like the worst website ever.
Yeah, and like that was the funny part is Dane came in and built this blog. He was like, all right, is it good? And like I'm a perfectionist. I'm OCD for sure, and I'm like, no, this is not good. This doesn't work. And I think that was the first taste where I think my hunch is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think Dane was like, oh wow, this guy's an OCD weirdo, but he's driven, like he wants perfection.
Well, I didn't really know how like startups worked. Like I literally thought I could just build you a website and then I would have equity. And then I would just like go on my own and like go get some more equity from someone else and build another website
Jeez.
and like a company, you know,
Then
like
we quickly realized that you really can't make money off of music blogs anymore. You have to own the publishing rights. We went out to LA.
Why is that? Is that because of like Spotify? And
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
have
that?
to have to pay like millions of dollars to own the
Yeah.
rights to the music, and then you can do it. But it just didn't make sense. But at the same time, to market that music blog, I had created these communities that would allow people to buy, sell, and trade concert tickets for free. It's called The Exchange. We're actually selling it if anyone's interested. And that actually became kind of the blueprint for the kitchen. And so with that community, we heavily curated the community so that it was very transactional. So people would go in there and say, oh, what are you wearing at the rave or at EDC or Coachella? We take those posts down. All the investors were like, I don't get it. Like you have these ticket communities, but you have this music blog. Why don't you just do the ticket thing? And Dane actually had said, dude, let's just do the ticket game. And like my music loving kind of soul was like crushed to think about doing that, but it was 100% the right move. And so we shut down the music blog. We raised a round of funding to build a cheaper, more robust StubHub using those communities as kind of the marketing platform. And then literally 3 weeks into that, the entire industry shut down when COVID hit.
we raised like 80% of our round.
90%.
90%.
90% of the round of a $500,000 round, no more concerts.
Were you like on?
Oh, I was freaking out. Like, well, it's just like you have the shock of COVID in general, and then you lose. Like,
2.5
it feels like
years.
your company is like just gone, poof. Like, and you've been grinding for 2.5 years. Like, it was terrible.
And I was
losing
also
my
like,
mind.
I was in the process of having a baby. Like, well, I wasn't having a baby, but Kira was having the baby.
So finances were kind of in.
It
or I
was
guess
cr- it was-
stability would be in the forefront.
It
of your
was
mind.
crazy. And so Dane and I were literally going to Zilker Park and throwing the Frisbee like every other day because we didn't know what else to do.
I was on unemployment. Like, just I was like, what is my life going to become? I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I played pickleball, and then I met Steve Kuhn, who is the founder of Duper, MLP, Dreamland, rest in peace, Dreamland. And I met Tim Klitsch, who is the founder of Austin Pickle Ranch, which actually the MLP this weekend
yeah.
at his club, Austin Pickle Ranch.
That's crazy.
And I had thought if I could create a community, I also wanted to meet people to play with, then I could be of value to them. So I launched Pickleball Austin on Facebook, and I went up to I called Dane. I'm like, hey man, pickleball, like I think it's the thing. I'm going to launch this community. And he's like, I'm out.
Well, I'm just like, dude, we have this other company, we have investors, like they're going to be pissed.
And I was like, what do we have to lose? There's no concert. So I ran with it, and it started growing quickly. It went from a couple hundred members to a couple thousand members. And then I launched The Kitchen, and I created this cover photo in Microsoft Paint. And it was terrible. It
was the worst thing I've ever seen.
And I was like, Dane, this thing's like picking up steam. And he looked at it and he's like, oh, dude, like, I got to help you out. I can't let you go to market with that terrible logo.
Yeah.
And he created this amazing cartoon cover photo that we still have elements of in our brand.
Is this the Pickleball Austin Facebook cover photo?
No, it was The Kitchen.
We can bring it up.
We'll bring it up. Blitty, can you pull that up? To this day, I think Dane's creativity, Dane's an amazing artist. Check out his Instagram, W Dane Iliff or Dane Iliff.
W Dane Iliff.
W Dane Iliff on Instagram. He's done murals. There's a painting behind us or in front of us in our headquarters. He's done like 4 or 5 murals around the country. Incredible artist. His design eye, which at the time we went to the U.S. Open shortly thereafter, everything was clip art, right?
Yeah.
It was like just really cheesy stuff. And then I think that cover photo set us apart from the other Facebook communities, and we just took off.
It just showed that we cared, right? All these other Facebook communities, like even it was just all clip art, right? And so like we launched with like the main group, and then we did like Pickleball Austin, Pickleball Florida, Pickleball California, and they all had these like crazy cover photos.
Dane made each cover photo. It took him a week.
Yeah, it was just it was just cool because people started joining because they're like, oh, these guys really take it seriously.
Yeah, they like put it, the extra detail goes
and we
way.
really did. Like I spent like a week on each one, and I remember the first one I did, I just like I stayed up like all night just like drawing this like weird.
They're sick. They're still there.
Like I like to do trippy stuff, but I was trying to keep it like rein it in a little bit. But it was just like a kitchen with all these like pickleballs and like dirty pots and pans and like pickleball shoes and pickles, and I just kind of ran with it, and it was awesome. I was so scared to show you because it would have sucked if you didn't like it. And then I remember going to your house and you like loved it.
It really set the foundation for I think our brand, and then along with that, from the days of the exchange and the curation, and like Pickleball Forum was the original community, and shout out to them for kind of paving the way for the kitchen. But like if you went in the Pickleball Forum, there'd be so many posts about what's your favorite paddle, what's your favorite shoe, and it just over and over again. And to me that wasn't interesting. What was interesting were cool stories, or like pros going in. At the time it was like Scott Golden and Dane Gingrich, and so I started reaching out to pros. I think the first one that said yes was, I want to say maybe Catherine Parento, but it was really Scott and Dane Gingrich. But then the first like really top pro was Catherine. And so we started having pros come in there and posting content, and we would say, hey, you post your content there. We're going to heavily curate the content, so we're going to shine a brighter light on your brand. And that, I think, was a big differentiator. And to this day, like we've really tried to, I think attention to detail has been at the center of what we do. And so it's just been this crazy journey.
And this was what, 2019?
2020.
No, this is 20. So we first played June 2020. And then I was kind of on the fence for a couple months. And then so I feel like we started really going hard like maybe September.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny. We just started like partnering with all these people in the space. Like I remember, I don't know how long into it, but it was like we post this thing like we're partners with PPA, and like I don't know what that even means.
Well,
but
actually, I went out to Connor's house in Utah, and he was like, what is a partnership with like DJ Young? What is that? And I was like, it's just a thing. We just say we're partners. And he was
like, we're friends.
Yeah. And he was like, well, what if I want to be the exclusive pro tour? Because at the time it was APP and PPA.
Yeah. And
we had worked with the APP and it didn't go great. And that was a huge inflection point for our brand. I went to Connor's house. He was super nice to host me and Taiki from one of these other pickleball brands. And I said, all right, let's do it. And he said, one promise, you can never run a pro tour. And I said, deal. And so Connor took a bet on us, which was big.
Yeah.
And then here we are, like now we're 1.5 million cumulative.
Well, I was going to say, this is June 2020. You started in September of 2020. It's 2025. Like, I don't think people realize how big your reach is, how big your audience is, what you have going on. They see you on the Kitchen Instagram, but like, it goes way beyond that. Your Facebook group, your newsletter, I mean, TikTok alone.
I think the number that blows my mind the most, and I like am constantly just like, there's been so many moments in this whole journey, but whenever I go on our Instagram, like as of a few weeks ago, we reached 70 million people in the last 30 days.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's
I mean,
insane.